And welcome into the Missouri 8-Man Football Preview Show. We are in week number 6 already. Crazy. Already October here in the football season. It's kind of when the real football starts to begin here. With that, Devin Albertson, Anthony Crane, and Coach Dean here. And fellas, how we doing on this Wednesday night as we're recording here?
Last week must have went bad because you begged Crane and I to come back this week.
No, I begged you guys to be in there last week. You're both busy, so someone had to be in the hospital, and I don't know what Anthony was doing.
I was working.
Yeah, it's fine. What was it, softball?
Probably.
It was either softball or volleyball.
I had to do volleyball twice this week, and
Softball's better. So,
yeah. No offense,
but
volleyball players. No offense.
we're
It's
gonna
a
look
fun
into
sport
week.
to play. I don't want to watch it, but
That's fair. Going into week 5 here, kind of look back at last week. On here, we just go by the conferences here. If there's anything that pops out to you guys can stop me here. But in the Grand River Conference here, Albany played Worth County. Worth County won 54-7. King City took care of Princeton 78-22. Pattonsburg beat Stanbury 72-19. But the big one, North Andrew taking down St. Joe Christian 28-22. I think it was an interception to close that game out for North Andrew. Any thoughts there on the GRC matchups? Kind of 3 blowouts and the 1 close game.
been telling people about Cole Ruby.
You
Told
have?
Adwell. I told him. But yeah, that tough year for Albany. But Worth County just being Worth County again. And then, when you go to Christian and North Andrew, I think those are 2 teams that are maybe combined for about 25 healthy kids. So it was good because I think a lot of games this year are going to be a struggle for those 2. So like we always say, to see those kind of back and forth matchups and close games, it's good for those teams that, Christian have been playing well, beating the teams they should.
Yep.
But again, the health was an issue again Friday night. North Andrew had a plan with Oren Goff at quarterback, and that's out the window too.
Mm-hmm.
They were down guys, so it's stuff going right now, Christian and North Andrew health-wise.
Yeah, you're talking about Cole Ruby there. 641 yards and 11 touchdowns. Almost 10 yards a carry for Anthony's guy there in Worth County. He's had a nice season for the Tigers so far, as is Hayden Sanders there at quarterback. Played pretty nicely as well on there. So, yeah, and you talk
Which
about
is how they
Christian.
win a state title. That's how they win a state title.
Talk about Christian.
They need those 2. No.
Yep. Talking about Christian, they beat Albany last week in overtime. This week, lose to North Andrew, a close game. And now this week, coming up here in a little bit, we'll have North Andrew playing Albany. So kind of a little trifecta of the middle of the GRC kind of battling out for who's going to pop up on top on there. In the 275 halftime game, Rockport over Stewartsville, 76-0. Nolly Valley over East Adson, 52-8. South Holt pulled away in the second half over DeKalb, 60-12. And kind of the surprise on here, Mound City over Platte Valley, 72-38. Coach Dean, he backed Mound City last week. Anthony and I did not. And Platte Valley let us down there a little bit. But Mound City, over 500 yards of offense in that one, over 400 yards rushing versus Platte Valley. They ran wild. I watched that game on Huddle. Mound City ran wild. And I showed Anthony a clip from that game as well. Mound City ran a fake screen with a pass over the top. It was a thing of beauty. Great acting by the kids because receiver went to the flat and he was begging for the ball. The receiver who caught the touchdown, fake block for a second, then he took off. Really well executed by the kids on that one for Mound City. But a big win there for the Panthers. They're 4-1. Their only loss is to undefeated Pattonsburg. So they're a team that maybe the second biggest surprise in the North so far, being the Mound City Panthers.
I don't think they're winning that conference.
No.
But again, like we talked about with Christian, to be, and I don't know a ton about Mountain City right now, but it hasn't been exactly what we're used to. And then they start losing some of those kids that were kind of the offense there. So you don't expect 4 out of 5 wins to start the season from them. And I think that's, you give credit to the coaching up there for that.
Yes,
and of course,
really
I apologize. I was going to let Dean go first, take his victory lap.
I'm just hats off to Mound City. They had a stretch there where they weren't playing really good ball, and they're getting back to being a competitive team that you can't sleep on anymore. You know that they're going to kind of bring it and Coach Standifurter there is kind of turning those things around, maybe. So go Panthers, huh?
Yeah, they haven't
Yeah,
had a
well,
winning
let's not go
season
that far.
since
Well,
they haven't had a winning season
let's
since
not.
2020.
They have like 20
Um,
state titles. We don't need to go Panthers.
I mean, Dean was there for one of them. He saw one of them in the state semifinal when they had those freaks in the backfield deck there. Coffee's freshman year.
In the back, I like how you go to the offense. I love that defense.
Well, it was also a freak defense. I'm not taking anything away from them on that side of the ball.
The
With that,
offense was just 3 plays, and Dean couldn't figure out how to stop them.
That's all they needed.
But that's no shit. I watched him. I watched those 3 plays put up 80 points in the state title. I think. Well, that was the same year, wasn't it? Was that
yeah, it was.
the
It was
Southwest
Southwest.
Livingston year? Yeah.
I believe so. That was 2018, I believe.
No, it'd been 2019.
2019. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 18 was the Worth County Mount City.
Yeah, that's when they put
title game.
82 points on Southwest Livingston without throwing a single pass.
And as we saw, pretty good Southwest team. Yeah.
Yeah, the next year came back without Mac Anderson and one state. Mount City did beat them that next year, then got the injury bug, and they haven't been the same since on there. But again, Creighton there at running back has been really fun to watch. He's really fast, really fun to watch the ball in the open field. Henry Smith will put a pretty good quarterback for him right now, and then Nick Ivy's playing that other tailback in their backfield, their T formation, kind of their fullback role. And not overly big kid, but that kid runs hard on there. So they've been kind of fun to watch on offense. And I give a shout out to John Gard there at linebacker. Has played pretty well for him this year. He has 63 tackles through 5 games, and they're impact tackles. You're not just racking up tackles; they're impact tackles, making stops there for the Panthers. So shout out to Mountain City. Again, I don't think they're going to win the conference, but there's a very good chance they're going to finish third in the conference, and I would not have thought that in August. I thought they were going to be kind of below the Platte Valley area there, because still in the middle of the conference. I didn't think they'd jump over Platte Valley. And next week, if they beat EA this week, the following week they have Nonaway Valley, which could be a huge matchup.
Well,
There in
it's
the
not,
275.
and it's not just they won't win a state title. I would have projected Platte Valley, South Holt, even maybe EA, like a battle with EA for that 5th spot.
Mhm.
So it's impressive what they've done.
Absolutely. Now let's look at the I-70 here. These 3 games here in the middle. Concordia beat Oric 47-8. Wellington, the second half, kind of took it to Sweet Spring 78-38. It was 38-30 at halftime, Wellington. So Wellington kind of opened things up in the second half. And then St. Paul beat Santa Fe 75-34. Those are all the openers in the I-70 divisional start of the last 5 weeks of the season there. So Concordia, Wellington, and St. Paul all picked up big wins there in that first week.
How about you jinxing Sweet Springs with your
Sorry,
post
guys.
about how well they were playing for 1 and 3,
And then first half, hey, they're down by 8. I'm still a genius. And then second half happened. I'm like, uh-oh. Well, I have a guy from the Sweet Springs. He always sends me pictures of the scoreboard at the end of quarters, whatever, so I can get updates. And I didn't get one for a while. He's like, sorry, didn't go well. Forgot to send a picture. I'm like, no problem, man. I understand. I get it. Appreciate everyone who sends me scores there on Friday nights. But I could tell, things maybe not going as well at that point there. But again, Sweet Springs falls to 1-4. Wellington up to 3-2 on the year. Central River South, Hughesville took down Bramer 66-6, and Slater got their first win of the year, beating Keatsville 44-8.
Love the first win of the year. That's always a good win.
Good job for Slater. South versus Independent here. Norman Hardin Central in a highly anticipated matchup with Lincoln. Kind of took it to them 58-24. Pfeiffer had another nice game offensively. Also had 2 interceptions on defense. Lincoln did turn the ball over a couple times in the first quarter, and then their starting quarterback got banged out of the game. And I think late first quarter, early second quarter. So once he kind of went out, they had to go one-dimensional on offense, and then the Aggies kind of controlled the line of scrimmage at that point and were able to pull away with that big win. But a nice win for the Aggies.
Magruder, when he was showboating, didn't mention they were without their starting quarterback most of the game.
He got knocked out of the game.
Yeah.
The Aggies are down their probably their best defensive end. So I will give them that. They lost him last week. He should be back for the playoffs, they're hoping. But good win for the Aggies. They had to put
they've got about 5 weeks before they play real football again.
Oh, I texted them, like, you guys going to take the next 3 weeks off? Because they got Their remaining schedule is Slater, Keatsville, Bramer, and then Hughesville in the season finale. So we will see them back in week 9. We'll talk more about the Aggies because the next 3 weeks they should be heavy favorites in that division. They're in the South.
Pfeiffer's got to be one of the best players in 8-man in my book.
He's very
Does
good.
it all on the offensive side and the defensive side. Kick returns too.
What does that kid weigh? Like 140 pounds, 150 pounds? Like pound for pound, he might be the best. He's not very big, but
Pound
that
for
kid's
pound.
but he's a feisty little thing. And I love watching him play.
I'm sorry. For now, that top mantle belongs to someone else until
Yeah, we
proven
know.
otherwise.
Yeah, he just won a state championship last year. We know. I'm trying to get on Anthony's skin right now. But going to his guy up there, Paris hosting North Shelby. This is the game that I was at.
Probably
North
not even the
Shelby.
best quarterback in that conference.
North Shelby defeated Paris 34-26 in a really fun football game, kind of going back and forth. The first quarter was just a 0-0 defensive slugfest until like the final 40 seconds of the quarter, and we had back-to-back long touchdowns. So I'm like, here's 8-man. We're back. I thought I was in for an Anthony Crane 14-12 game. Got a little higher than that. Both teams kind of opened some things up. I really like Paris's passing attack. I can't tell. They scheme things up really well with Coach Carney on there. North Shelby's pass defense isn't great this year. That's kind of where you can kind of get them a little bit on there. But the thing with North Shelby, just watching them in person, they're just going to be tough to beat because you have to stop Gannon Bowen on 4 straight downs from getting 10 yards.
The best player in the state.
It's tough to stop him 4 straight plays. It's so tough to stop him consistently on there. And Paris did a good job of limiting him. But even in limiting him, he still ripped off one big run. And just late you get to a fourth quarter, it's a tie ball game or they're up by 6. You have to get a stop. That's really tough to do with the way they play offense because they are A-OK with just grinding out wins.
There was some concern last couple of weeks about Shelby's defense. How did you feel seeing it in person?
I think against the run, they're just fine. I just think there's some holes there in the passing game. If you have a decent quarterback, you can exploit. So we'll see what happens when they play some teams coming forward here. I'm kind of encouraged how Hughesville attacks them this week because Hughesville can be a little more spread them out and throw it a little bit as well with Palmer there at quarterback. So it's an interesting matchup there with Hughesville. And Hughesville's done a good job on defense. They kind of slowed down Concordia pretty well and did some nice jobs versus some other opponents. Again, a little bit different than stopping North Shelby's rushing attack. That is just a little different. They're okay with just, we're just going to get 3 yards in this play. That's fine because eventually we're going to pop one for a lot of yards. Again, North Shelby is the number 4 rushing attack, averaging 306 yards a game, just behind Archie, Appleton, and Knox on there. So very impressive showing so far on there for North Shelby on the offensive end running the ball.
I like that win for North Shelby because
yes.
I think we all like Paris quite a bit too. So that's a quality win.
Yeah, I definitely like North. I think I like Paris even more after watching them live and watching them play that game, just because I think they're a little more physical than people give them credit for up front. I thought they did a really good job of matching North Shelby's physicality on defense on there. Just how they just close game, like they could play here, play there, had some opportunities, got the ball back with 3 minutes to go, down a touchdown, and just couldn't quite muster a drive up on there. So again, a nice gritty win for North Shelby, and I'll say this about North Shelby. I know we've talked about them and grinding out wins, but this has been a pretty tough schedule for the first part of the year. LeBlanc, Sweet Spring, St. Paul, Wellington, Paris, Hughesville. They got Knox coming up after that. There's been no freebies. There's no easy win on their schedule there. There's some games that they're going to be favored in. They should win, but it's not like they're going to be, okay, we're going to roll over the team in week 3 and then get back to the tough opponents week. That hasn't been on their schedule so far this year.
Yeah, I wonder about that Illinois team too.
Yeah, I don't know about them.
Yeah.
So they've had some teams that at least going to put up a fight. They're not just going to roll over for you. Probably the worst teams they've played is St. Paul and Sweet Springs. But stylistically, they match up well with North Shelby because they both can air it out a little bit. So up next, Manhattan beat Northland Christian 58-14. Knox County went over to Overland Park, beat KC East 64-12. And then Greenfield on Saturday defeated Schuyler 66-46. That was a weird game. Schuyler jumped out to a 16-0 lead, kind of were in control of the game. Greenfield got it back within 2 points at halftime, 32-30. and then outscored them by 30 in the third quarter, like 30-0. And it was the weirdest thing because Skyler just did not play well in the second half at all, especially defensively. Two teams who are not great on defense on there. So good win for Greenfield though, as they get ready for some big games coming up because they might be the 2 seed in that District 1 behind Lockwood. Especially after Jasper beat Liberal this week, which we can go to the WeMo here. That was a big win for Jasper to upset Liberal in that one. I did not see that coming on there. I thought Liberal would win that one.
Nope.
That was kind of a surprise, especially because I think it was 18-8 at halftime or something like that. And then Jasper came out and scored a couple times in the third quarter that no one scored in the fourth. Just really weird ball game down there in Jasper.
Yeah,
Did
Liberal
Zuha
had
change his pants?
Did he not wear the red pants?
Liberal had some untimely errors, and hats off to Jasper for taking advantage of that. Like you said, Liberal had about a 10-point lead at the end of the first quarter, and then Jasper real quickly turned that to a 20-point deficit end of the first, going into the second quarter, kind of hung it out from there. And a team like Jasper's looking for wins, so you'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate that Anthony's not in his seat right now for this stat on here, but I have Jasper's box score. They
I'm
threw the
still
ball.
listening.
Okay, they threw the ball 3 times, 0 completions.
That
They
sounds
ran
about right.
they ran the ball 51 times for 299 yards. They established the run, 6 yards a carry, just ground and pound, just ate that game away. So shout out to Jasper for 51 carries in that ball game for 299 yards. 2 guys had 20 carries: Colt Clements and Carson Lehman. Clements 22 for 69 and Lehman 20 for 180 and 2 touchdowns. So
Just sounds like winning football to me.
so nice win there for Jasper, just to grind out that football. I remember seeing that box score. I'm like, Anthony's going to enjoy that box score on the podcast this week. On there, next one was Drexel over Rich Hill, 72-20. Drexel getting a nice win on their schedule in the WeMo play and able to add another win to their win column. And kind of looking at like the third best team in the WeMo right now is Drexel, just a little step below the Appleton Archies, but still hanging on to that third spot in the conference. Other games down in the south, Lockwood over Osceola, 78-26.
Sorry,
Archie,
I was letting Dean have that one. I thought
I was too, and he didn't want to say anything.
Good win. I mean, you love that win for Drexel. Win the ones they should, and got a tough one this week versus Archie. But that was one. Looking at the season, that was one you had to have, and they went down to Rich Hill and made it happen.
Yep, and then the next one was Archie over Bishop of Blonde, 71-22. And I got the stats for that one too. Let's see if I can find the box score that Archie sent me there via Huddle. Archie 4 of 7 passing for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then running the ball, they had 482 yards rushing in that one over LeBlond, including 203 from Leaper and 4 touchdowns. They had 3 guys go for over 100 yards. Leaper had 203, Bryant had 127, and Cash had 120, and they combined for 7 rushing touchdowns between the 3 of them. Cash also had 74 yards and a touchdown receiving as well, so he had almost 200 yards from scrimmage as their second guy, and on Leaper's 280. So they had a nice game there offensively for Archie.
Are we talking about Archie enough?
I still think they're the third best team in the state.
Carried away. Let's not get carried away.
I mean, only one of us has Archie outside our top 5 in the media poll. So
who?
It's not me.
That doesn't sound right.
I mean, look at the notes you sent me last week.
I'm going to check my notes.
I don't vote in the poll.
We may have made a mistake. Oh, you know what? I did. All right, hear me out. Hear me out, though.
Okay.
Let's walk.
Because this is one thing here. I know people are asking because Archie has fallen to 4 in the media rankings for this past week. And I think Dykstra asked the grand question of, not sure where they're falling. And I'm like, I know where they're falling.
Well, they're not better than Rockport. Rockport, still to me, has more talent than anyone else. Lockwood beat them.
Yep.
And looks good a lot of the time doing it.
Yes.
Like Worth County, more talent. and probably a top 5 player at running back in the state there as well. King City has talent as the quarterback, the receivers, the running back, the line, and they've looked really good. And I bumped up Nottoway Valley too because, again, they've looked really good too. That was the one, I think, where I think Archie could be 4. I think they probably are better. They could, if they played Nottoway Valley, I would probably pick Archie. King City to me is still a bit of a toss-up because, in fairness, they're still King City. So we laugh about it, but you and I have been on that bandwagon multiple times, and it has derailed. What Drexel did to them, in 2001, and that was one of the most talented 8-man teams in my time. I mean, they had dudes everywhere, and they got pantsed at home. So that's why it's like you had to prove it.
And my one pushback for King City and why I have them at 6 and closer to the Northern Hardin Central and Knox County, who I have 7 and 8 in my poll, is because of the schedule.
Yeah,
Stewartsville, DeKalb, Albany, Stanbury, Princeton have a combined 1 win, and it's Albany over DeKalb. So that's one reason I'm like, I can't put them into that top 5 quite yet until they beat If they beat Pattonsburg this week, then there'll be more in that discussion with them and Nottoway Valley for that 5 spot. Becomes more of a discussion at this point. But they've been absolutely dominant in that stretch. There's been zero doubt in any of those games. The King City has been the better team.
And you've been in the South a lot this year, the Central River or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you see them in person. I know when you're playing Albany and Stewartsville, it can look good, but man, they have a lot of talent.
And that's why I still have them over Norborn and Knox County. That I've watched them all on film. I like King City's skill guys just slightly more. There's more ways to attack you with that. Mm-hmm. They look so good on film. And again, it's versus not great opponents right now. So maybe the discrepancy looks bigger because they're playing lesser opponents. But
you can see the skill.
Yes, they're outscoring teams by 60 points per game right now. I don't care who you're playing. That's really impressive. And Nod Valley's right behind them at 58 points a game. Like those 2 teams have been absolutely. They're playing bad teams, but they are being absolutely criminal when they're playing those teams with the score sometimes on there. Again, it's the who's who here, the top 5. Rockport, Knox, Archie, Worth County, Lockwood. All makes sense on there for the scoring average. So that's one thing I couldn't put King City and Nottoway Valley over Archie just because of that on here. Look at Archie's schedule. They've already played Appleton and Lockwood. And they've played who I think LeBlon's still an okay team. They're not great by any means. Defensively, they're not good right now.
Are we still calling Appleton? Don't you have Appleton out of your top 10?
Yes.
So how top 15 team. So we can't have both sides. Either it's a good win because it's Appleton, or
they're 11. Not. They're 11 for me. They're the first team out. Not like they're 20.
Yeah, but it's 8-man football. 11's not good. That's not district title team. That's not. So you see my point there. And so if you take out that, which would be their lone top 10 win, the only other team they played, they lost to.
That's fair.
Would be my argument.
That's fair. They've also.
If you're going to
still say
the
third best team they've played at LeBlond is still better than any team that King City's played. Would be my counter argument.
I'm not sure.
LeBlond at Albany.
Love Chuck. Again, love the coaching staff. That team might be bad. Like they keep losing 60-24, and we're like, oh, they'll be all right, and it just keeps happening.
Defensively, it's been rough this year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and offensively, and I don't blame them. Like, you lost multiple All-State guys. Like, they have no reason to be, beating teams this year, really.
I think they're probably rule off the next 3 weeks, probably be favored in all 3 of those games before they play Lincoln. So they could be a 4-4 team in here in 3 weeks and just be. Yeah. And they still. And guess what? LeBlond might be a district championship caliber team because their district is bad. It's them or Christian or Southold.
I think Southold and Christian are better.
Okay. Well, and again, we will find out later.
Healthy. I think healthy Christian beats them. I think they just have a few more dudes. And they'd play that physical style, and I think that would trouble them. Southolt's a tricky one. They're a team I can't figure out. They have a talented quarterback who doesn't really have the skill guys to throw to, and I think he can't really run either. So I don't know. Without seeing Southolt this year, I don't know what they're doing offensively or.
I saw their
But,
Stainberg film from week 1 on there. They were running a lot of the veer, a lot of the option on there, and some was good and some was really bad. So I think it's kind of a mixed bag there with young guys that has some fumble issues. But when they hit the play right, you could tell like that looks really cool. When they don't hit it right, oh, it looks ugly. With that, and again, I haven't seen any stats there, so I don't know how much success they actually had rushing the ball, like a per carry average on there. I will say you have to make a good point there. St. Joe Christian, the number 7 rushing attack, 280 yards per game. LeBlanc is 44th in rush defense right now on there, so that's not a great matchup defensively.
Excuse me? What was that?
Yeah, they're last in run defense right now.
Are there that many teams in 8-man?
44. Yep. So, yeah, but that's what we're looking at right there.
I imagine Archie's stats hurt them a bit.
Yeah, the 400 rushing yards, and they've played North Shelby, who runs the snot out of the ball.
Knox County.
They played
a tough schedule.
They have played a tough schedule. That's why I'm giving them a little bit of a pass.
He's changing his mind.
I'm not giving them. I'm not.
He's changing.
I'm not saying they're good, but it does explain kind of why they look bad.
North Shelby, Schuyler, who's not great. They beat them. Then lost to Wellington, lost to Knox, lost to Archie. Like that's been one of the tougher first months.
They would never admit this, but I think you sat them down in week 9 and you're like, "Hey, you finished 4-5 or 5-4." They'd be like, "Okay, that's what we expected."
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected Knox to be this good, this fast on here. That's a credit to Cooper Clare and those guys.
I'm still disappointed in that game.
And it was not Knox.
By the time I got the LeBlanc game, they completely took the foot off the gas, and so I didn't get to see any of the fun stuff.
They're fun. They're a fun watch on Huddle. I'll say that. Fun watch on Huddle. And then Appleton beat New Heights 84-0. Was the final there, and that was without Cash Anderson and Bryson James, their top 2 kind of rushers or athletes on offense. So New Heights, another team that's really struggling right now.
So maybe they need to take Cash off the defense.
I don't think Cash plays much defense in the first place, so I don't think that's going to be the success there.
Hold on, I know he's not a big guy. But you're telling me you struggle on defense and he doesn't play?
Let's see here. Cash Anderson has 3 tackles on the year. That tells me he doesn't play much defense.
That seems like an issue.
But he has 57 carries for 748 yards and 13 touchdowns through 3 games.
Unless they're like, hey, we don't need you to play defense 1 through 9 because that doesn't matter. That would make some sense to me.
And then didn't.
If it gets to districts and he's not playing defense, then, I would question that.
Okay, so let's get to the schedule for this week. Here on week number 6 on the far side. Let me see if I can't zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see a little better. Starting here first with Rockport DeKalb on there. I'm guessing we're all going Rockport here.
Are you going to reveal your picks now?
Well, I'm taking Rockport in this game. I'm also going to take Lockwood over Liberal and Worth County over St. Joe Christian.
I fall in line with all those.
Yep. Archie Drexel. I'm going to take Archie.
I think we're taking Archie.
And then one abstain, which is fine. Platte Valley, Nottoway Valley, which we thought kind of preseason might be a pretty interesting game. Now Platte Valley can't stop the run.
You know what's funny about the Dean abstaining from picks is had he just picked Drexel every time, he'd still be doing pretty well.
3-2. Platte Valley in the year is giving up 245 yards per game on the ground on there. So really hasn't been great on that end there for Platte Valley. And if I look
they have a guy that's the size of 2 linemen.
That's true. He also has 7 tackles on the year through 5 games. Defensively, last 3 weeks to DeKalb, Rockport, and Mound City have given up 231, 309, and 426 on the ground. I get the Rockport and Mount Cities. I don't love giving up 230 yards on the ground to DeKalb. Don't love that.
Yeah, like
And I watched
230
that
through
game,
the
and
had it been through the air, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But they're half your size everywhere.
it was 80 more through the air. So it was like give over 300 yards to DeKalb, and DeKalb moved the ball on them a little bit, kind of kept that game close for a while. Just Platte Valley just not great defensively this year, and they don't really have the consistent offensive firepower on that they've to keep scoring with teams. So I'm gonna take Nottoway Valley with all of their weapons to take down Platte Valley in this one, the Battle of the Valley on there.
Yeah, it is a terrible matchup for Platte Valley.
Also, we said last week on the show, I said last week on the show that Cooper Snarley hadn't got the ball much, and then he scored, I think, 7 touchdowns this past week. So shout out to the Thunder for listening on there, as he now has 16 combined touchdowns this year between rushing and receiving. I think he has 9 rushing and 6 receiving, still averaging 9 yards a touch on there in his limited carries. So
I really respect their FU guys' attitude this year. Like, no, not even Devin believed in us.
the worst part is my mom's a para at Nottoway Holt, so I have to hear from her via the kids how much I'm an idiot for picking Albany against them, which fair on there. So now I just out of spite do stuff. It's fun.
Pick against them then.
Maybe next week when they play Mount City, we'll see. Light another fire or
Ooh.
anything. Nah, if I did that, my dad might disown me and not go to my wedding. So we're not gonna do that. With that,
So
so
Saturday in the fall, have
Yeah.
a few people.
well, are we all three taking Nottoway Valley over Platte Valley?
Yeah.
Okay, now the next one's kind of a toss-up game now. King City at Pattonsburg.
King City by 30. I think this is when they prove it.
Okay.
I've been in Pattonsburg corner this whole year, but I'm gonna go with King City. I'm gonna trust the rankings, and man, if Pattonsburg wins this one, what a marquee win this year. But I'm gonna give it to King City by like a touchdown.
And
Sorry,
go ahead.
I will say that what I'm curious about is the King City defense in this one. Really, both defenses, because Pattonsburg's has kind of slipped back to what we kind of see in the past. You know, I pointed to that North Andrew game. You know, they won and won handily, but that was a depleted team you gave up 40 points to. And I don't know. And again, I have my biases for North Andrew, but I don't know if they score 40 points again this year. And
They
maybe
give out 40 to Princeton. Not a great look.
Yeah.
On there the week after.
Yeah. Which is why it's tough. But again, more importantly, I want to see King City's defense stop them, because that's always been my concern with them. It's never really the offense. It's always they can't figure it out defensively. So they can win 60-20. Then my number 4 slot for them won't look as questionable.
I will say this about Pattonsburg. Just for the nature of the 275 GRC crossover games, them playing Platte Valley Mountain City is much more difficult than the Stewartsville DeKalb pick that King City got this year. So it's kind of helping Pattonsburg change the schedule on here.
Is it?
I mean, it's not hurting it compared to the Stewartsville DeKalb. At least you're like, hey, they play 2 teams that are at least one that's average and one that's above average right now, and arguably a top 15 team at this point. Like, that helps a lot more when you're kind of looking at them. Like, they've beaten a couple teams that at least have a heartbeat on there. Like, hey, they at least give you some pushback on there. And even North Andrew kind of in that same boat.
Maybe it's maybe it's because I think DCAB's a little better than maybe their record. Like, maybe it's just their improvement is what I'm looking at.
They're better than they have been. Yeah.
Stewartsville still, I don't understand that one.
And then King City defensively has been very good this year. Then missing the Stewartsville game.
Schedule's helped.
Yeah. Missing the Stewartsville game, but still getting up 137 yards per game, which I believe, if I look at my total defensive stats here, is number 1 in the state. Yep, it is. Just in front of Hughesville and Rockport and Paris. So, been pretty good so far defensively for King City. Number 10 passing defense on there, so they'll be put to the test here when they play Pattonsburg, who's going to throw the ball across the yard. Unfortunately for me, I will be at this game, so I will be in Pattonsburg until midnight. The Coach Gavin rule that you don't leave the football field until midnight, so it's going to be a late night because Pattonsburg throws the ball every play. Though
Yes.
they have been handing the ball off more this year, I'll give them credit there. We have Will Mays. We're just going to hand him the ball every once in a while from the backfield and see what happens. And good things have happened. They're a little more balanced than they have been in the past, which I think has
Mm-hmm.
helped their success this year. It's not just straight 60
Well,
throws a game.
that's what I think that we're looking at is they've kind of built that offense back up to where it's pretty potent, I think, or can be against above average teams, which the last few years, it's when you play the Stanberries and those teams like that, they put up the points. This year, I think they have an offense that can put up points. I don't think you see Worth County or even King City shutting them out or like we have in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that has to do with that balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that balance has helped them quite a bit this year. And just, I don't know, they got some good athletes too. I mean, it helps. Defense is a lot easier to play when you have a Will Mays and a Camden Griffin both playing defense on there and being able to fly around, staying healthy, and just helps have the. And I'll give credit.
You would have thought that. You would have thought that in the late teens, and
Yeah,
when they're the best athletes in the state.
I will give them also credit. Jace Estrada up front, number 99 for Pattonsburg. That kid is huge, and he eats up blocks in the middle. They haven't had that type of dude in a while, or really ever that's been effective there for Pattonsburg. He is very effective. He might not get that many tackles, but he stands out on film because it takes one, maybe two guys to block him on there, and he is readjusting the line of scrimmage. You haven't seen that from a Pattonsburg defensive lineman in a while, and he does a really good job of that and making things really clean for their linebackers to be able to come up and make some plays on there. I think it's helped a lot for their defensive stuff this year as well. Is his play in the A gaps has been really good there for Pattonsburg. I am also taking King City in this one though. I couldn't bring myself to take Pattonsburg. I just think King City with Carlson at quarterback's a difference maker. Sample, Metzger, Jundy, they just have too many options there, and I think it's going to be a shootout. I think King City wins, and I think Pattonsburg games, if you keep them within 20 either direction, that's a one-score game in most games because there's so many extra possessions on there. It's kind of a 20-point game feels like, oh, that was actually like a one-possession game that kind of got out of hand for a 2-minute stretch there, where it's like, you know what, that was actually should have been a one-touchdown game. It ended up being 2 or 3 because of just the surplus of possessions on there that you don't usually have for a old school North Andrew Stanberry game where you have 2 possessions a quarter, 8 total. You might have 8 possessions and a half on there. So
I think them in North Andrew scored 3 or 4 touchdowns the final few minutes of that game I was at.
With that, so we all three took King City. So congrats to Pattonsburg on the upset win. Slater at Northern Hardin Central. I think we're all taking the Aggies in that one. Next one, ranked matchup: Northwest Hughesville at North Shelby.
Going with the best player.
So going with Hughesville and Dane Palmer. I'm kidding. Just keeping the bit going.
It'd obviously be Inman if we were talking.
And really, Hughesville, their best player might be Carnthorpe.
Shout out to any guy who plays linebacker with a broken hand.
Shout out to any linebacker who plays linebacker with a cowboy collar. Like, automatically up on my list a little bit. So,
why didn't you go to this one?
I physically cannot make it to Shelbyville.
Oh, that's right.
It's a 3.5-hour drive, and I did that drive to Paris last week, and I can't do that again. It's farther to Shelbyville and then farther back home. It's so far. With that, who do you got in this one, Dean? Hughesville and North Shelby.
I'm gonna go Shelby, but I know Shelby doesn't take care of business. Hughesville will sneak one out. You really got to keep your thumb on Hughesville and can't give them many edges in the game. But I do think Gannon Bones, one of the best players in the state, and that gives you the edge when I think it's going to be a closer game.
Yeah, be interesting with Hughesville. Their number 8 rush defense.
You and Devin with the Gannon Bowen hate.
There's no hate on here.
No.
There's no hate for Gannon Bowen.
You said the Archie guy was better.
That's not hate on there. That's not hating. So again, Hughesville, number 8 rush defense, number 2 overall defense right now through 5 weeks, have been very good on that side of the ball. Their pass defense is pretty good. North Shelby does not chuck it around a whole bunch on there. Again, North Shelby, number 4 rush defense, number 8 overall offense, or 4 rush offense, number 8 overall offense on there. So it'll be very interesting here. But as Anthony did,
what do you got the over under in this one?
total points 76, like a 40,
That seems about right. That's
40
probably
32 game.
That's high.
What North
too,
Shelby
I think.
plays? What North Shelby plays every week where they score
Well,
5
that's what I was
touchdowns?
gonna say. I can't expect. I don't expect many points. So I was trying to figure out exactly how many total points we thought we would see. But 70 sounds about right.
I mean, if we look at North Shelby this year on here, their average is 44 to 33, which is what, 77 points. I just kind of went with North Shelby's average and said about there because they play every game. They score between 40 and 50 points, and they give up between 28 and 40. Just kind of where it is. Hughesville, on the other hand, scoring 54, giving up 23. It's been a little bit inflated here with the wins over Braeburn and Santa Fe, but their middle games here, other teams that are compared to them, score 30 to 50, give up 20 to 40. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of one of those games on here where if first team to 44 points wins it on there, 4 or 5 touchdowns, 2-point conversions at a premium on there. And I think I give North Shelby just a slight edge when it comes to that right now. So I think, are we all three taking North Shelby? I hate seeing that.
Well,
Appleton,
that Concordia win for Hughesville, Concordia is kind of an analog a little bit to Shelby. So that's going to give you some confidence style play-wise that you beat Concordia, and Shelby's kind of similar attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give Hughesville credit as well. I talk about Connor Thorpe quite a bit, but also Nathan Boss, who plays running back and kind of outside backer for him. He's a really sure tackler out there. Kind of curious how they look in the open field trying to tackle Bowen compared to, again, Concordia's guys are really good. They're not Bowen on there because he's so slippery. Talking to Coach Carney after the Paris game on there, he was joking with Bowen. He's like, "Did you put Vaseline in your arms or something like that? Because we could not get physically a hold of you." There was one kickoff return. I think Bowen missed the ball, had to go back to like the 12-yard line and grabbed it. Made one guy miss, went up the sideline, and I swear it took 9 guys to tackle him at like the 35-yard line because he just kept struggling through guys. Guys would get
Pretty
off of him
impressive
and
when
then
you're
jump
only
back
allowed
on.
8.
Yes, it is. I swear he got touched by 10 different dudes. It was crazy on there. It was just like, I think I texted Anthony. I'm like 150 on the Facebook. Bowen. That's all I had to say there. He's just very impressive there. Next one, number 10,
You never
Appleton.
you never do that with the other guy, though, do you?
He just doesn't get touched.
That is true. That is the difference. Is Smith fucking he dials it out. Like,
Appleton at Osceola. I'm gonna take Appleton in this one.
Appleton.
Another good game here though. Paris at Knox.
we got Knox. Again, I gotta go with the better player in this one. I think that belongs to Knox.
Cooper Clare's a stud. He's really good.
Oh man, gonna go Knox. Love Paris. Love what they're doing over there. Cooper Clare is a different animal.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up his. So this was against KC's Christian, who's not great on here. 6 of 10 passing for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. 10 carries for 106 and 3 more scores on there, and it looked harder for him than usual on there, and he still put up 10 yards a carry. They just did do such a great job. I'm sorry, he had 9 for 141. Sorry, the Hayes kid had 106. He had 15 yards a carry and 4 touchdowns. That makes more sense. But every other touch, he had a touchdown on there for Claire. They do it, and again, Van Noy does a great job with them up there with their misdirection stuff and their read option stuff. That you get him a crease, and all of a sudden he's off to the races. And for a speed guy, he's also just really big and bulky up top. He's going to bring some power.
He's bigger. He's bigger in person than I expected.
Yes, he's bigger on film. I look at film. That kid can run that fast. Like dang, on there he's got the shoulder pads that are like a size too big, and it does not slow him down at all. It's kind of the opposite of the invincible guy. Little Mark Wahlberg.
I feel like Northern Hardin Central has that kid too.
Oh, the Gage
Is
Smith.
it 21?
Yeah, Gage.
Yeah.
That kid's big. That kid's big. He's a goofball.
I couldn't tell if he's big or his shoulder pads or just big.
He's a good sized kid. He's pretty solid on there. So again, game that's a toss up, and we're all three going with Knox County uh, on there. So we are setting ourselves up to just get
You did all
toasted this
that
week.
glazing about Paris and their offense.
Again, Paris has a bunch of options on offense. They almost have too many dudes they can get the ball to on there. They don't have that one just monster. And there's two of them in Northeast Missouri right now with Bowen and Claire, who I believe are 1 and 2 in the state in rushing yards. Let me double check that real quick. They are. It goes Bowen with 1144, Claire with 876, and then Brock Holmes from Rockport with 796 on there. So he's got a 268-yard lead right now, does Bowen, over the rest of the state. And rushing touchdowns, that goes reverse order. Holmes for Rockport 21, Claire for Knox at 20, and Bowen with 19. So those are kind of the top 3 rushers in the state right now across
Man,
the board.
you know what? I forgot about the Holmes kid.
He's good.
I like him a lot.
Only a junior, too. We have another year of him.
He's really talented.
Yeah,
We're talking about the best. It's a good year for running backs.
Yes.
It's
Good
been
year for running backs.
It's been down a bit the last few years, but it's.
I mean, that's the top 10 rushers in the state right now. Rushing yards, rushing touchdowns. I mean, that's with Cashy Anderson missing 2 games. He's still got 748. Lucky
Well,
Fair from Platte Valley is pretty good.
I was thinking about that earlier too when you were talking about. I think it was North Shelby struggling against the pass. That is the benefit of most teams that struggle against the pass this year. There aren't a lot of teams that can throw it. You know, if we're talking about the best quarterbacks in the state, it's a tough argument because they just don't stand out like the running backs do this year.
Mm-hmm. Those are the top 12 passers in both yards and touchdowns right now. Of course, Pattonsburg at number 1 on there. Hampton for Wellington is pretty good.
Yeah.
St. Paul throws the ball around quite a bit as well. So I'll say the Enzer kid for Parrish does throw a really nice touch pass on there. Really impressed with him last week. Okay, Let's go to the rest of these real quick. LeBlanc playing Casey East Christian.
Go Eagles.
I'm going LeBlanc.
I will also go LeBlanc in that one. Mound City EA.
Mount
Panthers.
City.
I hate myself, but I'm taking Mound City. Please don't hate me, Turkio. Please prove me wrong. With that one, I do like EA on defense. I just think they struggle to score enough points to stay in this one because Mound City's going to rip a couple long runs off, even as good as Tate Johnson is in the middle.
Do the Mountain City people give you shit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They don't.
I just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
You've really taken that mantle from me. Like I may very well be liked in Mountain City by now.
Purple team's really growing on you, Anthony. They're really growing on you.
Yeah. I did say some things about LeBlanc that may not.
Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad. 3 out of 4. You don't have anything bad about Slater right now, right? Jasper Greenfield. Jasper and Greenfield. Again, this is like a big game here. If Greenfield wins this, they can kind of get back in that discussion for the 2 seed in the district after Jasper beat Liberal last week. And Liberals already beat Greenfield. So they can do a little 3-way beating up on each other if Greenfield can beat Jasper this week.
I'm going to go Greenfield. I think they're a little more explosive at this point. Nice win for Jasper, though, last week. But it's going to be tough, I think, for them to keep up with Greenfield's scoring.
What do you think, Anthony?
What'd you say happened in the Greenfield and Liberal game?
Liberal by 2. So Liberal by 2, Jasper by 6 over Liberal. So,
you know what? I don't remember the last time I picked Jasper, so I'll go with them to be different.
Thank you.
Because I really don't know. I mean, I could pick Greenfield, but
I will say this about Greenfield. They're pretty fun to watch offensively. Hudson McGuire is a lot of fun in the open space. I think the Mays kid had a very nice game last week. Morrison's decent at quarterback there, pretty shifty. But, man, defense, they're just so small. They very remind me of just a really, really explosive McGuire. If you just add him to DeKalb, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference in the uniforms because they're all just tiny on there. They're just not very big, so defensively, you got a big running back. They're going to carry him for like 4 yards. Like, they're there. They just can't make the physical tackles because they're too small on there. It's not because they're not in the right spots, not where they're supposed to be, because they physically just get run over for a couple yards. So, and again, Greenfield
really enjoyed his brother, though. His brother was a good player.
Oh, Nash was a good player there for Lockwood. Um, he's like, "Yep, I remember." Long game. Still bringing that game up.
Yeah. Out of all the
Um,
games you guys have seen, that's the one.
Well,
Yeah,
listen.
every
okay.
time
No,
it comes up,
here's the deal. You think you feel bad, but also, Devin and I spent a lot of time over the years being like, "Oh man, nobody draws up a defense like Dean." So after that game, it's like, well, I guess even the best get got. In
that
fairness, though,
was
that was a good Lockwood team. Like,
Schnelly was a good quarterback. He was
yeah,
he was throwing dots out there because they had who's it? They had McGuire. They had also Eggerman, I believe.
yeah,
Also,
Yep.
he was really good. They had they still had Tiemann, who was playing running back. He was catching the ball about. They had 3 dudes at receiver who were just one was
yeah.
totally open. So that was very much just like Saban versus Manziel. Like I don't know, like what what is this football?
Yeah.
With that
And
next
he's
game,
be like, Jacob, go win, please.
yeah, they
Just
couldn't
keep
stop
scoring
Coffee
touchdowns.
though. They couldn't still couldn't
Yeah.
stop Coffee. He had like 300-yard rushing again. Like Coffee's still doing his thing. Next one up.
Can we move on from that
Yes,
game?
I am.
Have we,
Well,
have
no,
we
we
dissected it
We
enough?
brought it up every week, so
Yeah, absolutely. This is why Dean wasn't here last week. Actually, he was tired of this game being brought up. Next one,
Next week, we're just going to show the game film of that game.
we're gonna break it down. We're bringing Coach Lasatter on here. What'd you do here to Dean's defense?
yeah.
Next game here, battle of winless teams. Bramer at Keatsville.
I think Bramer finally gets their win.
I'm going Bramer.
I'll go Bramer. I just think just have a little more talent than Keatsville at this point on here. It just again, this is I think Keatsville's best chance for a win the rest of the year because they have Norman, Hardin Central, Hughesville, and Knox left in their schedule after this, so they have to win this week to get that first win in program history. And if they don't, you have to wait till 2026.
Oof.
All joking aside, I didn't expect Bramer to fall off a cliff like that.
I thought they'd be
Now,
down. I thought
having multiple coaches in a few months probably doesn't help, but
yeah, they have a chance. They have a couple winnable games here. The last part of the stretch, they have Keatsville, Schuyler, then at Norman, Hardin Central, and then versus Slater. So they could get to possibly 3 wins on there if they can beat Keatsville this week. Kind of on that trajectory. The Schuyler and Slater games are kind of toss-ups.
because even I consider going to that week 9 game, which that was before you saw the week 9 matchups, but now it's like there's no reason to go to that one.
Yep. I think we're all 3 taking Bramer over Keatsville. New Heights at Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Yep, Lincoln gets back in the winning ways this week. On here, don't know how the quarterback back this week. Don't think it's going to matter in that one. Albany at North Andrew. A couple of middle of the pack GRC teams on here. What do you guys think here? Again, Albany lost St. Joe Christian by 6 in overtime. North Andrew just beat St. Joe Christian by 6 in regulation. So a couple of toss-up games there. And now they're going to play each other in this one. What do you guys think about Albany and North Andrew?
I'm going to go North Andrew. I think at this point they have it together just a little bit more than Albany.
I agree. I love Coach Fountain. I love Elliot Mercer. But right now, it seems like if it's not Mercer, there is nothing else for them to do. And, North Andrew's depleted. But the Levi McAfee kid's a good player. The Jacob Harris, freshman
Hall?
receiver.
I think it's Hall. Let me look here.
Hall? Is it Hall?
Hill. Sorry, Hill.
He's got something they've never had at North Andrew, which is speed.
Juice.
Yeah. So he's been a good player so far, and I think that maybe gives them just the edge. And depends. I don't know again if they're healthier or what, which could, without you're missing linemen, that hurts, especially against someone like Albany. But I think I'll give the edge to North Andrew just because, man, Albany's not been good.
Yeah, Albany scored 74 points that first week versus DeKalb. They've scored 55 since total over the next 4 weeks. So really struggle on that offensive end to get things going. This might be a game with a first to 32 points wins on here. And I think if you're playing that type of football game, I'm going to side with North Andrew in just as they used to call it, just a bar fight, bare knuckle
Or
bar fight.
or it'll be a 60-50 type game. That could
Yep.
happen too, because neither defense is great.
True. So I think both teams kind of want to just take the air out of the ball a little bit and just settle things down. I think I think first quarter might be just feeling each other out on there and kind of set the tone for the game. So I'll take North Andrew as well in that one. Wellington Napoleon at Warwick on here. I'll
Well,
do the
now
Tigers.
Yep, Wellington. I like
On.
I like that they pulled away from Sweet Springs
Mhm.
because Sweet Springs has been playing people tough,
Yep.
and maybe Wellnap's kind of turning that next corner here, second half of the year.
I also
the
say
loss may help
this.
them too.
I'll say this with Wellington. They've played really well at home this year, 3-0 at home. They are 0-2 on the road. And it might just be opponents on there more than anything else. They've also just played like the second half versus Sweet Springs was in that first half versus LeBlanc were two of the best things they've played all year on there, and just be
Well,
able to pull things away. Again,
you lost the
my
Aggies and North Shelby. Like, that's gonna happen.
both were very slow starts though, and both of the games are like we started really slow on the road on there. Can they get that adjusted this week when they play at Oric? Because it's their last road test before they go to Concordia week 9. Because they have 2 home games after this on here. So this might be a way like, hey, we have to start faster at home on the road here. This is a chance for us to prove that on here and get ready for that Concordia game. Because they start slow versus Oric again. Then it's like, okay, well, it's hard for you to win at Concordia if you start slow that first half to dig yourself out of a hole at that point. So this might be just a nice little road game that they can kind of adjust to and use that going forward in that week 9 game, which could be for the I-70 conference tournament, conference championship there between them and Concordia on there. But I think we're all three taking Wellnap. Another battle of winless teams now in the GRC. Stanbury at Princeton.
I'm going Princeton. I think Princeton's had a pretty tough schedule to start out.
I'll pull that up.
it's
It's been
I got a
murderer's row.
message about that schedule too.
It's been Mountain City, Rockport, Worth County, Pattonsburg, and King City. Their only losses are to each other. Mountain City lost to Pattonsburg. That's the only loss those teams have. And Worth County lost to Rockport. That's the only 2 losses that their first 5 opponents have through the first 5 weeks. They've not fared well in those games, but they've also been. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3 ranked teams. One is receiving votes, and Mountain City's 4-1. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
tough.
it's a mixture of it was a down year for Princeton anyways, and then you get that schedule.
Oof.
So
Next year, can we just switch Princeton and King City schedules on here so we get King City versus Mountain City and Rockport the first 2 weeks? That'd be a lot more fun.
Yeah. So, but Bass has been able to keep that group focused and not depleted.
Mm-hmm.
That second half of the schedule, they could maybe take some things that they learned, taking those beatings, and have a better second half than first. So I think I'll go with them as well. Yeah, I think they've shown a little more life than Stanbury has.
Yep, look at Stanbury's schedule. South Holt and Platte Valley in their 275 conference crossover games. Losing to Christian, they were in that game for a while. Got beat by King City pretty good, and then lost to Pattonsburg. So again, not an easy schedule so far for Stanbury as well. I mean, the worst 2 teams have been South Holt and Platte Valley on there. So they've been tough schedule for Stanbury as well so far this year.
They've had that B-cab issue where everyone's 5'9" and 160 pounds.
Yep, they didn't have a Schieber though. That Schieber kid is fun. I think he has a couple return touchdowns.
Small.
He's not very big.
He doesn't
he's
help
quick
them with the size thing.
No, he does not. With that, so again, they got Princeton this week before they go to Worth County next week on there. So, oof. On here. So I think we're all three gonna take Princeton in this one.
I'm old enough to remember when those were fun.
What?
The Stanbury Worth County.
Yeah, I remember those were a lot of fun for a lot of
years. Speaking of Sheebers, the one was a monster.
Trey.
Was it Trey?
Yeah, first one, Trey. It was Trey, then Tucker, then now
he
Paxton.
was massive. He
was a bowling ball, just on there. And now Northland Christian at Rich Hill.
Tigers.
I'm going Rich Hill.
Three-way sweep here. We're all going Rich Hill. We're all going the Tigers get their first win of the season. Here again, almost with their first win week 1 versus New Heights, lost by 6, lost to Jasper. Then played the Archie Appleton Drexel trio, which is not fun for a 3-week stretch there for Rich Hill. You compare that to Northland, who, if I can pull it up here, lost to Oric, lost to Santa Fe by 8, beat Cornerstone by 2, beat by Paris, and then beat by Manhattan, Kansas, who's a pretty good school out there. One of the better private schools out in Kansas. Got them pretty good this past week. Manhattan's playing Archie this year, so that should be interesting, actually. One of the better out-of-state teams Archie could have picked up. But then they got Rich Hill and LeBlanc before a bye week 8 for Northland. But yeah, I am also going to take Rich Hill in this one. Concordia at Santa Fe. I think we're all three going to take Concordia.
Yep.
In that one. Stewartsville at South Holt.
South
I'll
Holt.
roll with the Knights.
Yep.
And the last one here that I think is kind of a toss-up game, St. Paul Lutheran at Sweet Springs. Two very different attacks here. Sweet Springs a little more balanced, likes to run the ball a little bit more with Hampton, the Rap kids. St. Paul, they want to chuck that ball all around the yard with Sheets to Kreisel on there, who are one of the better receiving the passing duos in the state. I believe Kreisel leaves everything in the receiving yards at this point. If I get that pulled up, he's first in yards, first in touchdowns, and second in receptions right now. Actually, he's tied for first in receptions, actually, with Humphrey from Pattonsburg with 36 through 5 games. So he's a really good receiver there for St. Paul Lutheran. What do you guys think of this game between St. Paul and Sweet Springs?
These two teams traditionally play each other really tight, too.
Mhm.
These are always really close games. I'm going to go St. Paul because I think they're a little more explosive. But if Sweet Springs can kind of lure them into their type of game, you could see Sweet Springs winning this, but give the explosive edge to St. Paul and Sheets.
Who are you going with?
I'm looking back and forth. Sweet Springs pass defense is bottom 5, and you play a top 5 pass offense, but also St. Paul's rush defense is give up 270 yards per game. You're playing Sweet Springs, that's top 10 in rush offense on there. So the weakness versus weakness, strength versus weakness on both sides of the ball on here. High scoring football game. Sweet Springs is at home. I'll take St. Paul. I don't know why.
Give me
Take
Sweet
St. Paul.
Springs. Yes.
There we go.
That's what I was waiting on.
All right, so there we go. I will get this pulled up here. And again, this is our picks for the week on here for us three. A lot of agreements. Only thing we're disagreeing on is Greenfield, Jasper, and St. Paul Sweet Springs, which with the many toss-up games we have this week, absolutely terrifies me that this could be a bad week. This is the overall standings here already through our first 5 weeks. Dean has the best percentage. He didn't do week 1. I had the most total right so far. Anthony's here. Anthony's taking a few more swings than I have, though.
That's true.
A couple swings last week.
In fairness, I'm the one of us that I'm like, you know what? I'll disagree.
Because like last week,
I do it for the people.
Last week he took the Lincoln and Paris upsets that didn't happen. Paris almost did. So with that, yeah, that's the picks for this week. Any other final words as we're getting out of here? Just about an hour in.
I can't believe we're in October already, second half of the season. And this is really, you start turning that corner, thinking more about playoff implications, and teams
But
are
I thought
kind
you
of
guys took it week to
figured
week,
out who they are.
one day at a time.
One day at a time, coach speak.
We got him out of his shell. Look at him.
I like it. Real quick, looking up here, I want you guys' picks right now for the state semifinal teams on here. So you got districts 1 and 2, a team from there, and districts 7 and 8, a team from there on here through your prediction after 5 weeks. Who do you think's going to be in the state semifinals? I can zoom in a little bit more if I need to.
You know.
We're going from one team from each of those.
So one team from District 1 and 2. So this quarterfinal on here, and then one team from either 7 or 8.
Lockwood, Archie.
I'm going to go Archie.
I'll probably go with the Lockwood Worth County state semifinal on that side is what I'm kind of looking at on here. Lockroom District 1, then beating Archie. And then I got Worth County over Knox is who I'd have in the other quarterfinal with Worth County playing Lockwood in that state semifinal.
I'm going North Shelby out of District 8. Shelby
I
and
agree.
Archie.
I have Knox my highest rated team up there right now, so I'm gonna roll with that for right now.
Going with best player.
And then how about District 3-4 versus 5-6? I got Rockport out of that bottom two on there, just over Nottoway Valley in the district championship game. Rockport getting out of, and then the winner of that game is going to beat whoever's at District 5. And
The
then
District
I'm going to
5
take,
is...
I'll take Norburn, Hardin Central, all those top two districts on there. So I think it's an Aggie versus Rockport state semifinal game. Then I would have a Lockwood versus Rockport state championship game.
I'm gonna go Rockport, and then up top, I think I'm going Norburn, Hardin Central.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with you on that.
Yeah, I don't see anyone else from that top bracket or even the bottom that is better than Rockport or Norburn Hardin Central. So
yeah. So that's what we have there. And again, I have a Lockwood Rockport state championship game, which would be a lot of fun. I think on there. Again, I think it's the best two teams, in my opinion, on there. And I have Lockwood number
is
one.
Lockwood
on my
your
poll
number
right now.
2?
Lockwood is my number one right now. I'm one of the two people that has Lockwood at number one, and I've had them there since they beat Archie week 1.
Oh,
So I have Lockwood over Rockport in the state championship game, and
you
that'd
move
be
a
a lot
little
of fun.
further south and look at you.
I mean, last year I thought the best two teams in the state were Archie, Lockwood as well. So I think my top 3 is right now was Lockwood, Rockport, Archie, and then Worth County at 4. So I've not kind of wavered from that as we're going here into week 6 on here. So we'll see what happens going forward. Again, I will be at King City Pattonsburg this week. Next week, I'm looking at doing something a little different. Still kind of brainstorming in my head now. But might be doing something just a little bit different for week 7 on there for my broadcast on there, trying to try something new maybe for a week that doesn't have a lot of great games. But I want to be able to cover some more games from the state. So we'll get back to you. I'm going to workshop that.
Are you going to red zone it? Is that what you're trying to do?
Wow.
Give away my secrets. That'd be a lot of fun.
I don't know how you would do it, but that would be cool.
I'm hacking every huddle camera that I can is what's going to happen.
That'd be so much cooler than us having to go somewhere. We could just send it around.
Especially
just live stream it.
The one thing that does stink, though, I would do that in the postseason, but that would require me paying and dealing with MSHA violations.
$3,000.
MSHA violations for live streaming via MSHA TV every game. Updates there.
Live streaming 20 events.
If only MSHA would give me the opportunity to do that and just have hey, let's have a red zone through MSHA TV, right? To stay at home and do this. It'd be a lot of fun. It'd be for the people, and so it automatically is not going to work for them. So, but yeah, we're going to try that next week. See if I can do something like that and try to get as many games as possible. And the good thing, if I use a StreamYard, is I can send this link out to anybody, and anyone can pop in at any time and give updates throughout the game. And I think that would be a really cool opportunity that we could do as well, where I could have Coach Dean from wherever he's at give me a little update of the game, Anthony, or random people with a link just jump in here and me deciding, do I trust this person to be on live TV or not? And a real quick hovering over the remove button.
You allowed me to do it, so
yeah. And if you say something dumb, I can just be like, you know what, and you're gone. So that gives me the opportunity to do that. So yeah, we're gonna end that show on that note this week. Any other final thoughts here, Anthony? You want to send us out here on some wise words or just words?
Let's talk about Gallatin and Brookfield in this matchup.